As the Roman king Cyrus once said, "We are but dust and shadow." Welcome to the story of the rise and fall of one of the greatest empires in history, the Roman Empire. Ah, the glory of Rome. At the peak of its power, it was an empire unparalleled in history, a beacon of civilization and might. Its influence stretched from the sun-baked sands of Africa to the misty shores of Britannia, from the bustling markets of Asia Minor to the sprawling forests of Germania. Rome's golden age was marked by unprecedented prosperity, a testament to its robust political structure, mighty military, and flourishing economy. Its cultural richness and architectural marvels, like the Colosseum and the Pantheon, still captivate us today. This was an empire that stood as the epitome of progress and power, a shining jewel in the crown of human history. But as we dive deeper, we'll see that even the mightiest can fall, and Rome was no exception. The sun began to set on the Roman Empire as internal strife and external threats started to surface. Now imagine a world where political corruption is rife. The empire, once revered for its stability and strength, was now tainted by the actions of self-serving officials. Power was no longer a tool for the welfare of the masses, but rather a means to personal gain. The result was an empire that was crumbling from within, its foundations weakened by the very individuals entrusted with its survival. Moving on to the economic front, instability was the order of the day. The once thriving markets of Rome, the lifeblood of the empire, were now shadows of their former selves. With the continuous debasement of the Roman currency, inflation soared, driving the cost of goods sky high. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, creating a chasm that was impossible to bridge. Then, there was the issue of military overspending. The Roman legions, once the pride of the empire, were now a drain on its resources. The cost of maintaining such a vast military force was astronomical. The empire was stretched thin, its coffers depleting at an alarming rate. The once invincible Roman military was now a ticking time bomb, ready to implode at any given moment. But the troubles did not end there. The empire, already buckling under its own weight, was now facing increasing threats from barbarian invasions. The barbarians, sensing Rome's vulnerability, started to press on its borders. They were like wolves circling a wounded prey, waiting for the right moment to pounce. What we see here is an empire besieged. An empire that was once the epitome of power and grandeur, now on the brink of collapse. It was a time of uncertainty and fear, a time when the very survival of Rome was at stake. Rome was being attacked, not just from the outside, but from within its own walls. The final nails in Rome's coffin were hammered in the 5th century AD. A time of turmoil and despair, the 5th century AD marked a series of unfortunate events that led to the downfall of the grandeur that was Rome. The sack of Rome, not once but twice, by the Visigoths in 410 AD, and then the Vandals in 455 AD, played a significant role in the empire's decline. These invasions were not just military conquests, but also symbolic representations of Rome's diminishing power and prestige. Let's take a moment to visualize the first of these calamities. The Visigoths, a Germanic tribe led by King Alaric, breached the walls of Rome in 410 AD. A city that had not been invaded for over 800 years now fell to the Visigoths. The raid lasted for 3 days, during which time the city was plundered, monuments were destroyed, and citizens were taken as slaves. This event sent shockwaves across the empire, shattering the illusion of Rome's invincibility. Fast forward to 455 AD, the Vandals, another Germanic tribe, led by King Genseric, invaded Rome. Unlike the Visigoths, the Vandals looted and ransacked Rome for a solid 2 weeks. The city was stripped of its wealth, its people were enslaved, and its buildings were burned. The sack of Rome by the Vandals was a devastating blow that further destabilized the already crumbling empire. The final blow, however, was the abdication of the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustus, in 476 AD. He was a mere child when he ascended the throne, and his reign lasted less than a year. When the Germanic chieftain Odoacer invaded Rome, he forced Romulus to abdicate, marking the end of the Western Roman Empire. And with that, the once mighty Roman Empire was no more. The city that had once been the heart of a vast empire, the beacon of civilization, had fallen. The fall of the Roman Empire serves as a reminder of the transient nature of power and glory. The fall of Rome marked the beginning of the Dark Ages in Europe, but its legacy lived on. The curtain may have fallen on the Roman Empire, but the echoes of its grandeur reverberate through time, shaping the world as we know it today. With the fall of Rome, Europe was plunged into a period of political fragmentation and cultural regression, a time referred to as the Dark Ages. Without the unifying force of the Roman Empire, Europe splintered into numerous kingdoms and fiefdoms, each vying for power and dominance. This period saw a decline in literacy, urban life, and economic complexity, as people reverted to more rudimentary ways of life. However, the fall of Rome didn't spell the end of its influence. In fact, its legacy is so deeply entrenched in our modern world that it is almost impossible to imagine life without it. Rome's legal system, for instance, forms the basis of civil law in many countries today. The concepts of citizenship, legal rights, and even the idea of a republic are all bequeathed to us by the Romans. Rome's impact on language cannot be overstated either. Latin, the language of the Romans, evolved into the Romance languages, which include Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. Moreover, many English words have Latin roots, testifying to Rome's linguistic influence. Architecture, too, carries the indelible imprint of Rome. From the dome of the Pantheon to the arches of the Colosseum, Roman architectural principles have inspired countless structures around the world. Even today, the Roman architectural styles of Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian are widely used in buildings and monuments. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of Rome is in the realm of politics. The Roman Republic, with its checks and balances, served as a model for many modern democracies, including the United States. In the end, Rome may have fallen, but its spirit, its legacy, lives on in our modern world. From law to language, politics to architecture, the fingerprints of Rome are everywhere. Its fall marked the end of an era, yes, but it also signaled the beginning of a new one, a world forever shaped by its influence.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. That's all for Nifty Narration.